Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Body of 2-month-old baby retrieved from rubble in Bowden Hill, St. Andrew. Students remain in hospital after consuming sweets laced with ganja. And later in sports, Denzel Wilkes says no regrets over JAF criticism. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here are the details. We begin this afternoon with a developing story. Rescuers have retrieved the body of a 2-month-old baby in Bowden Hill, St. Andrew. Her remains were pulled from her house, which collapsed after a landslide. TVJ News understands that the child's parents and her twin were in the house during the incident. Rescuers have been at the scene for hours trying to save the little girl. We'll have more on this story in Primetime News at 7. To a TVJ News follow-up, 5 students of the Ocherius Primary School in St. Anne remain in hospital after consuming sweets laced with ganja yesterday. A total of 65 students had to seek medical attention following the incident. Giovanni Dennis reports.
A bittersweet feeling this morning at the St. Anne's Bay Hospital and Ocherius Primary School. Sweet. Majority of the students involved in yesterday's horrifying incident have been released from hospital. But bitter, few of them have still not recovered. Chief Executive Officer at the hospital, Delroy Morgan, provided an update.
5 remain in hospital, ages between 7 and 10. That would be 3 girls, 2 boys. One is in and out of drowsiness and is admitted to the pediatric ward. The other 4 are under observation, continue on their treatment plan, and we will continue to give updates as necessary.
TVJ News understands the students bought the drug-infused candy from an unknown vendor through a fence at the back of the school. They displayed signs of hallucination and were also dehydrated.
A number of kids presented from the Ocherius Primary School with symptoms of drowsiness, dizziness, loss of consciousness after ingesting a sweet that is said to have THC, which is similar to cannabis. That's the active agent. So they presented with drowsiness and dizziness.
Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton, who was at the hospital Monday night, said the sweet was imported illegally.
This product was not given any approval to be imported into the country. In fact, as a policy, the Ministry of Health and by extension the government does not support through the approvals process any marijuana edible product. So when they are in fact present, more often than not, they are either done at home in a personal setting, or if they are packaged as this one is, it is brought in illegally. And the investigation continues. The police has started their investigation. We have the product, and so we will test to see the extent of the THC.
The police have launched an investigation to find the perpetrator.
For an adult to really be selling this to kids, I'm hoping the police really finds him quickly and just bring him to justice. It's extremely alarming.
Giovanni Dennis, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, the Ganja Growers and Producers Association of Jamaica is distancing itself from Monday's incident. The association in a release says it does not distribute unlicensed products and has always condemned the sale of cannabis edibles to minors. It's calling on the Cannabis Licensing Authority and the Ministry of Health to implement regulations for edibles and packaging to prevent a recurrence. To another TVJ News follow-up, the grade 7 student of the Steertown Academy who was hospitalized after being attacked by 6 students remains in hospital. CEO of the St. Anne's Bay Hospital, Delroy Morgan, says the student is conscious and alert. However, he says her progress will be monitored continuously by the health team. The student was beaten by the group Monday afternoon, hours after she stepped on the shoe of one of the group members. 27-year-old Troy Ellis, the suspect implicated in the rape and murder of 9-year-old Talia Thompson of Fortland Road in Discover Bay, has been charged. Head of the St. Anne's Bay Police Division, Senior Superintendent of Police Dwight Powell, confirmed that in addition to rape and murder charges, Ellis will face an additional charge for escaping police custody. He says arrangements are now being put in place for him to face the court to answer to the charges. Talia Thompson was discovered dead on Saturday, September 23. Ellis tried taking his own life after allegedly committing the act. To news now from the court. Convicted St. Thomas pastor Stephanie Cole Christie is to serve 9 years and 10 months behind bars. She was convicted in March for being a member of a criminal organization. In handing down the sentence this morning, Chief Justice Brian Sykes pointed out that Christie was a vital member of the criminal organization. He noted that she also solicited information from the police regarding gangsters who were either in custody or on its radar to make the necessary adjustments. Justice Sykes says based on the evidence, she was a willing party to the network. There is a call for further strengthening of community watch groups in St. Catherine South Police Division. The division's head Senior Superintendent of Police, Christopher Phillips, describes the leadership in these communities as weak, needing urgent attention. More in this report.
Crime cannot flourish in a community that cares. That's according to head of the St. Catherine South Police Division, Senior Superintendent of Police Christopher Phillips, as he addressed the Gregory Park community at a meeting recently. SSP Phillips says these communities, especially in his division, need some type of policy direction to get them better organized.
Most of these communities not organized, and where you find disorder, that's where the criminals like. They love those spaces. They love those spaces. Some of these communities see that are gated, are not necessarily safe. Inside there, the leadership is disorganized, it is divided, and people not. So I would love to see, in fact, it is one of the areas that we want to focus on in one of our town hall meetings, community leadership and development, how we frame that. The only active thing that I know about is the JSAF Neighborhood Watch program. And it's a difficult task to get persons out to participate in these programs.
SSP Phillips is suggesting that the government put in some incentives into community leadership.
I thought somebody would say, no man, you're building all these units, it must come with some additional community-based policing center or something to support the communities. Allow us as the police to grow with these new communities. Now, we don't have the resources to grow with these new communities because we have to be focusing on the hotspot communities in Gregory Park, Waterford, Central, Village, Woolaba Bay, and those areas, while new communities. So it's like these communities are coming up and we are not there because the resources stretch.
And SSP Phillips says the police will continue to make an effort to involve young people like the Prefect Training Initiative.
We want to empower our prefects from that right there, school leaders, student leaders, to help us to police their school and by extension they are policing the environment because some of the conflicts go right back into the communities. We have our domestic violence center. That is basically the use of that facility. We underestimated, the kind of response that we are seeing.
Carrie Ann Simpson, TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. After a long period of drought, farmers in Rose Hall, St. Elizabeth, are breathing a sigh of relief now the parish has been experiencing regular rainfall. Before this, they say it has been a burden financially purchasing water for their crops.
We have a rough drought here that day. We have 7 weeks but a drought. You understand me? But the rain that fall the other day, give me a good performance in the farm.
This garden underwent 7 weeks of drought before the rainy season really started. 7 weeks of drought. Within that 7 weeks of drought, I purchased over 200,000 water. The first week, you're not going to buy the amount of water because the plants are young, so they don't want much water. But each week, when the plants start to grow, you have to step up on the amount of water you give each plant. Within the last, the drought last 7 weeks, within the 4th week, I find myself starting to buy like $60,000 of water for the week.
They say they are now in a better position to produce more.
Since the rain started to fall, I start to harvest about this garden. I'm harvesting in about 3 weeks now. This one is into a week harvesting. So basically, I clear up my expense already. So whatever you see here is going to be profit.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
Angus P. Young has been appointed Chief Executive Officer of NCB Capital Markets Limited. This comes after last week's announcement that Stephen Gooden, who held the post for some time, was stepping aside. In July 2022, Angus was appointed Executive Vice President in charge of regional investment, banking and new markets at NCB Capital Markets. He previously served as Chief Executive Officer of NCB Merchant Bank, Trinidad and Tobago. Further afield, TikTok is testing a new monthly subscription which would get rid of adverts on the video sharing site. The Chinese firm is trying out the service in an English-speaking market outside the US, but has declined to comment on exactly where. The subscription is being tested at $4.99. TikTok currently displays personalized adverts for all users over the age of 18. TechCrunch, the news website, reported that the test is small-scale and there is no certainty that a subscription will be rolled out globally. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Hal Shaneberg.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, schools were ordered closed in Antigua and Barbuda and Dominica today as Tropical Storm Philip brought heavy rains and flash flooding to the islands. The storm is making its way through the northern Leeward Islands and the Leeward Islands. The National Hurricane Center said Philip, with maximum sustained winds of 50 miles per hour, was located 25 miles north-northeast of Anguilla. A tropical storm warning is in effect for Anguilla and Antigua and Barbuda. On the international scene, a U.S. state senator from North Dakota, his wife and their 2 young children died in a plane crash on Sunday. Officials confirmed yesterday that the plane carrying Doug Larson and his family crashed shortly after taking off near Utah. The pilot of the plane also died in the crash. The family was believed to be on their way to visit relatives in Arizona. And Hunter Biden, son of U.S. President Joe Biden, is scheduled to appear in a Delaware court later today to be arraigned on firearms charges. He is accused of lying on federal forms and illegally possessing a gun while using illicit drugs. During the hearing, Biden will have the opportunity to enter a formal plea. Prosecutors also may ask for certain conditions for his release while he awaits trial. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Karen Simpson.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report with Jermaine Brown.